Good evening, everyone. Let's wait a few minutes until everyone joins, and then we can start. Okay, I think we can start. Welcome everyone to today's session. Today we're going to continue to introduce you in Java. And last time we finished with the setup of the class path. We did it in console, and there was a good question: why do we actually need it? The idea is last time we had a huge discussion about Java build path. And as you remember, it is defined, if we do it from Eclipse, is defined in, we can go to it from two places. We can go directly from here. If we select the build path, then we go to configure build path, then we can see it here, or we can also use the properties and actually see all the properties of the project, and we can go to our Java build path. This setup is really important, because otherwise, if it's not set up, then you are not able to firstly, you are not able to see the right structure of your project on the left side, and secondly, you are not able to execute the files from this project. That's why you have to have the correct setup here. It is not complicated. You just need to have the source folder as the source folder src. That's the source folder defined as the source folder. Like if you add folder, you click on add folder from right, then you can see the options available to select, and then you select that this is the source folder of the project. Right, it's already selected, you can see it, and if it's selected, then it is highlighted as the source folder. And for the project, it means that this is the place from where to select the Java files. The same way as we finished last time, it can be done in console. In console, if we use this option, cmd, we open console. If we set class path from here, and we provide the folder. It's in case this is in this folder. You can see it from here. Moment, just wait a second. Sorry. Set class path first. Set class path. Close this one, and you will be on the class path from where you can execute these files. The same way it can be done from console. In project in Eclipse, it's already set up automatically. I mean, not kind of automatically, but using the build path from here, yeah. And this is stored in the. If we go to our project, again, all the projects are stored in folders, folders which are subfolders of our workspace. Then here, as you can see, we have class path file, and if we use any text editor, you can use notepad++ or just a simple notepad as you want, and use notepad++. And from here you can see XML file, which is recognized by Eclipse, and Eclipse from here Eclipse reads the information about the class path to be used in this particular project. Like in this case, we can just simply see that the path is provided as src src, which means that this is the folder where the class path is located, and it is set up from here. So that's it about class path. Again, before you import or create project, please check the class path you set. Otherwise, you won't be able to execute the Java files. All right, that's about class path. If you have any questions, please. Again, Eclipse, of course, I can. You go to, you press and right click on your project. Then you can have two options. You can navigate from properties, or you can navigate from build path. In build path, you can just directly set your source folder, for example. You can select the source folder, or I prefer to use is build path. You go to configure build path, and from here you can see all the settings related to build path. And at first you have source, and from here, where you have source, you press add folder, and depends on which folder you select. This folder will be the source folder of your project, or you can create new folder as well if you want. That's about build path. If you have any questions, please ask. There maybe from at first sight there may be some complicated settings, like you have libraries, modules, order and export. Don't worry, it usually is done automatically, but in some cases you may have some issues, some errors, some incorrect setup, and in this case you may need to do some some manual things here. Otherwise, it's usually done automatically when you create your project. Alright, that's about it. If any questions, please ask. And yeah, that's about class paths. And now let's have a closer look on the program we have. In IntelliJ, let me open my project in IntelliJ. Yeah, there's the question from Maya. You don't see it. Maya asks where the build path can be found in IntelliJ. Actually, IntelliJ also understands the projects created in Eclipse. Yeah, the question from Maya. Let's see. She asked, in IntelliJ, you can also, so I have one project here. If I a moment, pass. Oh. In IntelliJ it is usually done automatically, I guess. If you, yeah, most likely you need to rebuild it. But IntelliJ, to be honest, I have not really checked it. But the structure of the project needs to be similar, and like in this case you have, for example, source folder of the project, and you may also have some setup from here, but in IntelliJ most of the things are automatized. In case you have any problems with IntelliJ, let me know later. Maybe I will explain you a little bit more from here, because at the moment I haven't worked with IntelliJ for a long time. Mostly can explain about Eclipse, but in IntelliJ, what I had in my experience, almost everything is done automatically, and it is less likely you can have the problem with the build path there. In Eclipse, again, it comes from Java build path. Maybe after the break I will show IntelliJ how it looks in IntelliJ. Just right now let's move on with Eclipse and let's have a little bit closer look on the program we created last time. We created two programs. Maybe let's have a closer look on my first class. And what we can see here, again, we can navigate to this file, and as you already know, the class Java classes are located in the files, in Java files, and if it's Java file, it can be executed. If you have like any other types of file, obviously you will not be able to execute this as Java program. Let's have a closer look. So we have a folder, which is the source folder, where all the stuff can be located. And as you can see here, we have default package. It means that from practical point of view, it means that we don't have any subfolders. We just have source, and all the files are located directly in this source folder. And in Java, everything is located in the packages. I mean, all the files are split in packages, different packages, and it's easy to combine them. Just if you have one Java files, one Java classes for one particular goal to be used. For a particular target, you can just split them by topics. So one file is meant for if it's kind of web development, then maybe some files are related to some direct output to the users. Some files can be mostly used in backend, and so on. You may have just a split of between the packages by specific topics of the files used in the project. Also, and this is the default one. You can create new package if you want. Packages again are used if you just want to have more accurate representation of your project. So just in real life, if you create the folders to know where this particular topic is located, then the files related to a particular topic are located in, then you create a different folder, new folder, and you place everything in this folder what is related to the topic this folder is meant for. Alright, and again, we can just maybe for those who missed, we can press on right click here, press new, and basically everything what you want to create in this particular source folder, we can press right click and create what we want from here. In this case we want package, so we select package, and here we can have the package, for example, named intro. So this is the package where all the intro files will be located in. By default it's initial, so you can see it here, it's highlighted, it's colored in white. So it means that nothing is inside. We can create a new file. This will be intro class, and maybe just intro. We can also, I haven't told you before, but we can also have some settings from here. From here we can place what is the source folder of this class. Obviously that's source, src, the package, so the package where this class is located in, the name, access modifiers. You can have only public because this is the class. So as I said last time, all the classes located in a particular file can only be public. Also, you can select it as abstract or final. This is related to object-oriented programming. We will talk about it a little bit later. At the moment, we want me to use them. because we haven't talked about object-oriented programming yet. The same about superclass, it's also related to object-oriented programming, and interfaces are also related to object-oriented programming. At the moment, we don't need to use it, but we'll use them later. And by default, you can tick that we can use we will use name void. In some cases, we may skip this one. In some cases, we won't need this public static void main to be defined in the class. We'll show. We will see the cases where it is not needed. As I said, maybe you can already understand that, as I said last time, this void is needed to start the execution of the program, and we can also use different classes inside this class. And if we just want to start from here, for example, here we think that we start from this file, then if we use other files, in other files we may not need this public static void main. Constructors from superclass, this will also not needed. This is also not needed at the moment because it's also related to object-oriented programming. We will talk about it a little bit later. Inherited abstract methods, also related to object-oriented programming. We will also talk about it a little bit later. But for now, we can press finish, and you can see that the class is generated, and also main word is automatically generated. What we can see one difference from default package already. In default package, we don't have any mentioning about the package. Yeah. So in this case, it says that we are in intro package, and this class is part of intro package, that we can see from here. And also, if we go to physical files in our folder system, then we can see that another folder is created, and this folder is actually the package of our project. Alright, so here we have our class, and for now let's have a little closer look to our program. So by default, you can see that it defines the class. The class is public class. All the classes must be public if they are defined in the files. So each file must have at least one public class, and the name of this public class mandatory must be the same as the name of the file. If you just type something else, then you will have the error. And so we have access modifier, public. For classes, we can have only two access modifiers. First one is public, which at least one must be, and also we can create the classes without in the same file. We can create many classes, but this class cannot be public one. And if you want to create another class from this intro tool, then it will not allow us to do it, because only one public class is allowed to be here. If we just type it without any access modifier, then it's fine. We can create a new class and use it from here. Yeah, maybe let's just do it. For example, let's create a public static void. From here we can create this with any name we want, because it won't be called directly from outside this file. It will be called inside this file. So let's maybe call it method. We won't provide any arguments because it is not mandatory. Yeah, we'll talk about the arguments we provide a little bit later. But for now, okay, let's you may already notice that the classes are stored in braces, in these brackets. So here we can see this is the start and this is the end. And each class, each method is the implementation of each method, of implementation of each class is stored inside these brackets. Yeah, that's so here we have the definition, and inside the brackets we have the implementation. The same about methods. We have the definition of the method, and we have the implementation inside. Same as here. Yeah. So now we have the start, and for the methods, so the voids are considered as the methods. Yeah. In the class, we may have inside the class we may have the methods, and we may also have the attributes. Like for example, if we want to define an integer number, so we define it. So this is the attribute, and this is the method. All right. Yeah. So we have definition. Definition is we use public static. What's the difference between static and non-static? That's a really interesting question, and we will talk about it when we talk about object-oriented programming. For now, we will use static methods because they are. It is much more easier to use them than non-static. Why? We'll talk about it. And from here we can see we have access modifier. It can be public, protected, private, or empty. Just it's not even space. It's just nothing. Empty. That's called default one. Yeah? Public, protected, private, or default, which means that it has no access modifier. Then the second one, it shows if it's static or not static. If it's not static, then just maybe let's not change this one because this is the main one. From here, it can skip static. In this case, this is non-static methods. It's called instance method. We'll talk about it in object-oriented programming topic. For now, again, as I said, we can use static. And the last one is void. It means that this is the method and it has no returning parameter. Like for any methods, we can have input, which may be the arguments or nothing, like in this case. Yeah. In this case, we have arguments, so we put the arguments on the input. In this case, we don't put any arguments on the input, and we may also have the output of the method. The output may be the type, like integer. Yeah, let's maybe start with integers because they are much more simple. They are the most simple one to use. And in this case, you can see that it shows the error because we need to return something from this method. So we type return, and we, for example, return an integer number like 3. In this case, that's correct. So just 3 things: public, protected, private, or default, static, or nothing, then returning type or void, then the name of the method. The name of the method in this case, maybe just to not confuse you. Let's have method name, just not confuse you. And importing parameters, like if we want, we can add some parameters, like in this case, integer, and then the name of the parameter. For example, we can also return this integer parameter, and again the beginning and the end of the method. And using return, we show what will be returned from this method. That's it about the structure of the program. Let's maybe just have a closer look. Last time, as you remember, we used system out print, and as we can see, we may have some options here. We can use print, or usually you use print ln, which means we want to print the line. If we print the line, it means that the line is printed right here in console. And yeah, we can call the method in here. Type method name. Method. Oh, yeah, that's from different class. So we need to provide the class name, intro2, and then the method name. And here we can type some probably 32, for example, and it will print us the output of this method. We can also maybe add some mathematical operations here, like value plus 3, and we'll see them. Oh yeah, sorry, my fault. Just run different class, and from here I run this one, and you can see that I type 32, and at the end it called this method from this class, and we have the output value plus 3. Alright, so this is the package, and this is what is located inside the package. We may also use other classes inside this class. How we can do it? For example, we can easily choose one of the classes we use. Maybe this one. This has some parameters. Maybe this one. You can see that's public class. We can also access it from this class. And just maybe let's comment out this section at the moment. And go to hello world. Oh, yeah, that's because it's the default package. Maybe let's not use it. Let's create a new package. It's from the default package that may be a little bit complicated to use. So, for example, we create new package, intro2, and just please take a look that I use lowercase, and that's the part of naming conventions in Java. The packages must be named in lowercase. If we use uppercase, you can see the warning. Of course, we can do it, like we can create. That won't be the issue, but you can see that the package is created. But just when we create it, let's have a look again. When we create this package, so if we start with uppercase, it shows that by naming conventions, packages must usually start with lowercase letter. So let's follow this advice. Let's follow all naming conventions, and we can create this package. We can create new class. Just maybe to confuse you a little bit, let's do this trick, but this thing we can create the class with the same name, intro, from here. That won't be the issue. We can have multiple classes with the same names, but they are located in different packages. So what we can do from here, for example, we can provide the package name, and yeah, we can provide the package name intro, and in here we can see this class, and we can call main method. For example, yeah, we can provide the arguments. We'll have empty arguments, and let's run the right one this time. Let's run, and it has no output. Why? Let's see. Oh yeah, because I commented out everything. Sorry, no, now everything will be fine. Yeah, you can see that we called this intro class from different package, despite the fact that this class has the same name as the class we are currently in. One more thing, in case we want to use the class from different package, like maybe what we can do, we can create a new class here. Class like intro2, just to make it more simple. Ah, yeah, intro2 is defined from here, so let's maybe have yeah. The problem now, you can see that we have this class already defined in this project, so it's here. So the class intro2 is here, that's why we cannot have the same class in the same package, but we can have the same class in different package. Here I was, good question, thank you. What we're trying to achieve. Here I just want to show you the structure, how we can, where the classes can be created, and what's the basically the difference between if we define the class in one package or in another package. So maybe we start with these simple, just small classes, with no huge project inside. But for now I will now show you one thing. So if we just rename this, if you want to rename the class, you can use refactor and rename. Let's have it new. What we are doing, at the moment I'm just showing you the structure of the programs in Java. Structure of the programs in Java. That's just automatically done. The structure of the programs in Java. So at the moment we don't have any goals to be achieved. Any goal to be achieved here. I just want to say that we can have multiple classes in different packages. Maybe let's not go deep in theory at the moment. I just want to say that we can have first of all, we can have the same classes, and before you work in Java, it's really important to understand which particular class you use. Like for example, if you want to use, for example, in this class, I want to use intro class, and so to understand which intro class I use, by default I will use this intro class, and by default this will be this one. Yeah. So if I'm in the same package, if I type intro, this will be this intro class. But what can I do if I want to use intro class from different package? And here we come to a different to a new thing. A new thing for us is import. In Java, you will see that we can use imports, and import means that we use the whole package or the particular class from the package from different package. Right? So from here we can use call intro2, and we may import everything from intro2. In this case, that's not a really good idea. Maybe because we have the same classes from here and here, but it means that we import all the classes from from intro2 package. Like in this case, yeah, maybe just not use it, but we can again, maybe let's refactor to not have the same name. So, and yeah, if we now let's import. So now it will use all the classes from now we are here. It will use all the classes from intro2 package. Same way we can access it. Now we can access it in the code. And we can see that this will be available. Don't worry, we will talk a little bit more about it later. For now, I just want you to understand that we can have multiple packages, and in multiple packages we can have different classes which can be imported in different packages. To use the class from different package, we need to call import. Okay. Like in this case, we are locating this package. To use the file from another package, we need to import this package, or we can directly, without the import, we can access it in the code using intro2, and here you can see the class from intro2 is available. So we will have multiple usages of these things. For now, that's just maybe a small theory using just a little, not practice, but theory from Eclipse. Don't worry, we'll have all the usages. So before we use imports, before we use different packages, different classes, I just want you to show that we can import something, can access something from access classes from different packages inside one package. All right. There's also the question from Maya: how can we move the class to other package if not the correct one? We can move the class using drag and drop. Like if we want to move to default package, then you can simply drag and drop. So I think in IntelliJ it should be the same way. Yeah, again, you don't. It's just introduction. It's not. That's just the theory. Yeah. Of course, in theory we can go through it in PowerPoint, using PowerPoint presentations, and just talk about the theory. From here, I just talked. Just maybe about the approaches I used when I try to explain some things. I try to use the approach of just using Eclipse as the ways to show the theory. In this case, that's also the theory, not about the practical things. And we'll have practical assignments, don't worry. For now, I use Eclipse and I use all these packages and classes to show the theory. Because if we have this theory at the moment, it will be easier for you to understand things if we have more complicated cases. Because at the moment I don't want to start with complicated case. We will definitely have them a little bit later. For now, it's just theory. If you haven't if you don't understand something, don't worry, you can ask me, you can reach me. We will also have some more theory, some more tasks about it. Don't worry, that's just an introduction, just overall introduction, and this kind of theory. Don't worry, it's not the thing that you should definitely memorize at the moment. You will need to know it, but just right now that it is used as the introduction to it. Alright, and now again we've gone through we've gone through all the things in the code. In the classes we can have about dots. That's really simple. If we use the dots, we can call the method from this particular object or class. What are the differences between classes and objects? Again, this is object-oriented programming. We'll talk about it. But if you see dots, then you can have two options. That can be the attribute. The attribute is right now just maybe what's used class. Maybe that's class Latvia, and here we can have the attribute string capital city, and we can assign Riga as capital city, and also we can have public static void display capital. And here again we can use system out print line, and we can print this variable. So in this case we have the class. So let's start. All right. So now we have the class where we have the attribute. The attribute is capital city, and we have the method. So in theory, you have actually nothing more. You can have nothing more inside the classes. Inside classes, you can have attributes, and you can have the methods. In the methods, you have the logic, have the code which does some stuff. Like in this case, it prints out the variable, and this one is just the attribute with the value. We'll talk about the variables today. Don't worry. It's just and from here you can have two options. Like if we have Latvian, first of all, if we use dot, we can access the attribute, or we can call the method. Two options. That's sort of different, but from what we defined, we can access the attribute. We can change this attribute if we want. Just have to change the capital of Latvia. We can access the attribute, we can change the attribute if it's allowed, and sometimes it may not be allowed. We'll talk about these cases. For now, we have the attribute, and we also have the method which displays us capital. And just maybe a little trick, but we call this method twice. And if we run this program, then we can see that first one shows Riga, then I changed the value of this variable which is under this class, and I also display it, I call the method. So using the dots we can do two operations. We can access the variable which is located, and we can call the method. So this is about dots. Again, don't worry, we'll talk about the methods and attributes and all the properties about them. So that's just an introduction of what you can see in your or other programs, like your programs. Okay, for now let's start with the presentation. Let's continue with the presentation. Well, the presentation is about Java basics. Java basics and the basic things in Java. Let's start with let's have a bigger presentation. I think that should be fine. First of all, what do we do in the programs, and what actually programming is used for? As you may understand, everything is related to the actions. Just in real life, for example, if we use internet, or we use internet to just transfer the data. Like if you write emails, you do some actions. You open your email account. You type the email. You send the email. That's the actions, and also you have the data. The data is like what you type, and what is the information of your account, what is the symbols you type in the email, and so on and so on. So this is also the algorithm, and which is represented in the program. It's maybe not in Java, maybe other language, but the main concept is that we have the data. The data is the input of what you typed from the keyboard, or it's placed somewhere in the database or somewhere else. It doesn't matter. And the actions we do with this data. And that's basically what we have in the programming. And first of all, it starts with data, and here we may have, for example, we have the university system, and in university we have students, and all the students have the parameters. Like in this case, we have the parameter name, which is the name of the student, the age of the student, gender, and height. And let's directly go into our Java project. I will create new project to store the main information, the main files we will work with, the main examples of the project we will have, of the programs we will have. I will share all these files with you. So let's create the project. Java-13, and for example, I will use the packages as the lessons, as the topics of our sessions. So today's topic is basics, so I will create the package with the name basics. So that will be easier for us to understand at which lesson, at which topic, which program did we create, did we execute. Alright, so for now let's have the break now. After the break we will create, I will show you how to create the structure of the person, how to represent it in Java. Now let's have a break and let's make it 7:31. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, as I promised to Maya, to show you the place where in IntelliJ you can find the build path. And so I have my project. I have the project here, and you can go to, again, right click on the folder of your project, then press and open module settings, and here you have a section of modules, and you can see that here is the source folder provided. This is the source folder of my project. So again, maybe just slower a little bit. Quick open module settings and the module sections. You'll see the source folder. Alright. It's about IntelliJ. And let's move on with the example. As you remember, we want to achieve that. We want to use the parameters of our student. And let's create the class, and the class may be called student. Student. And just make it simple. Let's take this back. And what do we have here? We have name, age, gender, and height. Let's use string. Let's John. Integer age. First name. Oops. There's my mouse. Gender, and below that is name. Okay, just please note there's a difference. We'll talk about strings and characters a little bit later, but just maybe for now. If you want to declare char, we use these singular brackets, and for strings we use double. And the last one is this will be that small. Oh no, font. So this is double, so let's use double. And this is actually the way how we declare the variables. In Java, so we represent the student. And of course, as we already used here, for the variables we need to have the data type. Yeah? Every variable has its own data type. Just in this case we have the string for name, the age for integer for age, character char for gender, and double for height. And you may ask why do we have integer char double highlighted in bold and string is not? That's a really good question, and we'll talk about it today. Because in Java there's one specific thing, the thing on which Java is based, and we'll talk about it. So about data types, it may have different styles, different. Like you may have just one symbol. In Java we use characters for it. Then for numerical values we may have different data types. We'll talk about which data types we can use as numerical ones. And the set of symbols. Set of symbols, as you can see, if we just have one character, then that's just one symbol, one character. If we have name, that's the set of characters. Yeah, we consider this as the set of characters. And here we have 4 characters: G, O, H, and N. So yeah, that's the difference. In Java, it's a really important difference between one simple character and set of characters. We will talk about the main main differences here. And yeah, for each data type you can have different operations. Like for age, we can sum the age, and we have integer, numerical values, and double values. It doesn't matter. We can add integer value to another integer value, numerical value to another numerical value. For characters, it's a little bit different. We can concatenate them, but that's different operation than we have with the numerical variables. Yeah, that's what's said here. We can do the summation, but not with gender, of course. We cannot add male to female. In real life, that's also not possible. It's possible to have the sum of the ages. If you want to calculate the average of the ages in, for example, in the class, then you sum all the ages and divide it by number of the students in the class. But for the gender, you cannot do the same. Obviously, the same for the names. You cannot add John to Peter, for example. It doesn't make sense, and of course, it's not how it works. We'll talk about the operation of if we use plus. For the names, it will be concatenation. We can concatenate two names. And if it's John and Peter, if we add John to Peter in Java, this means that we concatenate two strings. And for the letters, it's also possible to translate the name to uppercase, like in this case. If we translate all H and N to uppercase, we can do this operation, but we cannot do the same operation with integer. So hopefully at this point you understand that for different data types we may have different operations. And so every operation depends on the data type we are working with. So in Java and in other programming languages, it's really important to understand with which data type we currently are working with, and with different data types we may have different properties. In Java, it's really important to understand that we have two types of data types. First one is primitive, and the second type is reference type. And as you remember, I asked the question why the string is not highlighted in both as integer, character, or double. That's because all the data types highlighted in both are primitive data types, and all the types you may think from this point, if the type is not highlighted in both, that this is the reference type. That's maybe the most simple way how to distinguish them. Just on first look. If we go deeper, then we can see that reference types have different properties comparing to primitive data types. We will talk about these properties a little bit later, but at first sight you can distinguish them if you see that if the data type is not highlighted in both, then this is primitive type. Otherwise, it's reference type. This is what we see here. And yes, let's move on. So this is the introduction about data types. Let's start with the primitive data types. Primitive data types are the data types all, and from this point I can say that if we go a little bit ahead, then all the reference types are built based on the primitive data types. So you may you can think in this way that every data type in Java is based on the primitive data type. And fortunately, we don't have many primitive data types. As you can see here, we have some numerical types like byte, short, integer, long, default or double. And we have one symbolic primitive type, character, we already used. And another type is boolean. Boolean means true or false. Just like in this case, as an example, we go to our program, so we can see public static, and we can define boolean and define the following attribute as boolean, and it may, for example, be to distinguish if it's active or not active student. Student is a student who currently studies in the university. Yeah. So it's true, the student is active. Student studies university. Another option is false. Yeah. So boolean variables can only be true or false. You cannot type something like string, for example, and false. It's not allowed. For other data types as well, yeah. You cannot type string to double. Yeah. It's not, for example, something like that. That cannot be switched, so we cannot. We must use the right data type and the right value to this variable. So that's about primitive data types, and as you can see, numerical data types also can be grouped in two main categories. The first category is just simple numbers without comma, so which are integer numbers, byte, short, int, and long. You'll see what are the main differences between them, and the numbers with comma, like float and double. In this case we use double, so it has comma separated symbol. Yeah, and here you can see the properties, the main properties of the primitive data types in Java. So let's start with integers, and the most primitive type is byte. You can use it in value range of -128 to 127. So it's just 1 byte, the size of memory. And yeah, one small remark. So since this is the programming, you should also understand that if we run the program, we need to store the values somewhere, right? Because so if we run the program, during the execution of the program, these values must be stored somewhere, correct? That's why obviously all the variables are stored somewhere, and all of them take the memory, the amount of the memory from your computer. Yeah, just one more small remark I forgot to tell you last time when there was an introduction in Java. There was also said that Java is platform independent, and it also means that everything what you execute on your computer, you execute Java, all the memory will be taken from your computer. So if you execute Java file from here, the memory will be taken from your computer. Also the memory for the variables as well. Usually from just the comment for future, we mostly use integer for the int for integers. Yeah. It has 4 bytes, and in most cases that's enough. So in case you ask yourself the question which data type should I use, then the first option for for integer values is int. Yeah. We mostly use int. Then for floating, also different ranges. Different, of course, it results in different size taken from memory. Here we mostly use double. Yeah. Just a small recommendation to you. If you want to select from float and double, then mostly we select double. And yeah, other types, character and boolean, you can also see the size they take from the memory. Yeah, maybe that's also the question why we use boolean and not character. Yeah, because for boolean we have 1 byte, for a character we have twice as much memory taken as for boolean. In theory, we can just use character as boolean. We can type like true or T or F, which means true or false. But again, it takes twice as much size as just a simple boolean variable takes. So in our case, we are comfortable to use boolean. It takes less memory than character, and that's why we think about which data type to use, just because of memory usage. So again, you can see that if you use, for example, long instead of integer, then please note that you use twice as much memory as you could use for using integer. You're using integer data type. Yeah. That's about just like kind of statistics for the data types. And if we start, as we just talked about primitives, and you can see that for age we can use a primitive type like byte. I used integer. That doesn't really matter for us at the moment. If we use, maybe that's not too complicated for doubles at the moment. Here we can use byte. We can use byte for age. We can use character for gender. We can use float or double for height. But for name, as we can see, we don't have any data type, any primitive data type. We can use for the name, for the string. And here we come to reference types, and one of the type of reference types is string. As we already used it here, we can use string, and string is not primitive data type. In some programming languages, I think there is there definitely are some programming languages where string is considered as primitive, the base data type, but not in Java. In Java, that's the reference type, and basically what are the reference variables in Java? That's really good and very interesting question in if we talk about reference variables in all the programming languages, not only in Java, but as an example, in C++ or C. In C++, that's where it actually comes from, where we talk about the reference. And the idea is that reference variables are the variables which have the reference. So if we declare, like in this case, we declare string, it means that we create maybe the pointer is not the best term to use here. We create the reference. Yeah, we create the reference. Just maybe you already heard this term pointer. In like if you come from C++, then in C++ there are two things. There are references and there are pointers. In Java there are no pointers. There are only references. So we create the reference, and the reference to the memory. place in the memory, and as it is shown here, it points to the address in memory. Just for example 1, 2, 3 it may be. In fact it is more complicated. There's some different characters, you may not find the logic in them, but yeah, this is the place in the memory, the address in the memory, and like for strings you can see that it points to the place in memory, like in this case that's the set of elements. As I said, string is a set of characters. Yeah, you see these terms arrays and lists. We have not talked about arrays yet, but yeah, these are the containers. Yeah, we may consider them as the containers. The set, yeah, the sets in memory where we have these strings. Like in this case, for example, we declare the variable name, and this is string, so it creates the reference inside the memory, and you using the string, you actually using the string, you have the reference stored inside the string, and it points us to in this case it's shown as array, the set of characters, and there are 4 characters here. You can see that string is built using 4 characters, and using the reference we access these characters. And yeah, it's said that reference variables are more complex objects because yeah, you can see this term objects, also the base term in Java. Sometimes, in some cases, not in some cases, it always we consider reference variables as the objects. So it points us to the objects. In this case, the object is the set of the elements, which actually contains these characters. And yeah, reference data types are complex, as it said before, and it's not possible to save the value in one block in our memory. So we need to have the set of these primitive types in our memory. You can check more information in Oracle homepage, and yeah, now we can see that we can use string, and all the data types are known here. Just another one small remark: how can you distinguish the reference data types from primitive data types? I think I have not mentioned it yet, but in Java, when you create the classes, by naming convention, classes must be named starting with uppercase. Like you can see here, I created the class student, and I started with uppercase. And I did not use lowercase at first place, because in Java we always use starting letter as in uppercase. And for the reference types, just for you to understand, all the reference types are based on the classes. Yeah. Just if we talk about references, then it means that it is the class. It may also be interface or abstract class, but we'll talk a little bit later about it. Just for now, it's easy to understand that all the reference types are the classes, and we can also just Also one more not shortcut, but way to navigate in Eclipse. If we press Ctrl, you can press Ctrl, and then you can place on the you can click on the data type. In this case, that's string. If it's reference data type, that it means that this is the class or interface. So I press Ctrl, and now I can go to the definition of this class, and you can see that that string is the class. That's not the simple type. That's also the class. As you can see here, we created the classes. We created the class here, student. We created the classes here. String is also the class, and basically everything but the primitive data types are the classes, and string is the class as well. So this is really good point, and point to remember. And if we talk about the reference types are the classes or interfaces. And it's maybe a small remark from my side. We haven't talked about the interfaces, but that's just to be fully complete here on the theory. It may be the class or the interface, or also enum. We'll talk about enums a little bit later. But in general, maybe the most usual case is that the reference type is the class. All right. Then just maybe one more thing about the default values. For primitive types, I think it makes sense that for integer default value is even more. I think let's check it here. Let's check it here, and we can create. As you can see, we can define the variables inside the class, which will be the class attributes, and we can define the variables inside the methods as well. So it means that if we define inside the method, the variable will be available in the method only. If we define it in a class, it will be visible in all the methods of this class. So if we define int value just without initialization, it's not mandatory. We did the initial initialization of the variables here. But it's actually not mandatory in most cases. For some cases it may be mandatory, we'll see the cases, but if you just simply define the variable, it's not mandatory to initialize it. So we have integer, char, so let's just define these variables, and we will see what are the types of are the default values of these variables. That's the continue of the theory. Nothing related to the practical side here. I just think that if we use Eclipse for the theory, that may be a little bit more understandable for you how it actually works. Just make it a different name. We can also see that we can have like name here. In this case, that may be a little bit confusing if you have the same variables inside the class and inside the methods. So in this case, if you type name, you can see that you have two options. One option comes from here, from student. Just in this case, you need to add the class name, and if you don't add the class name, this will be considered as this variable. Okay. So now you can just use double. Again, you cannot use just another remark. You cannot use the keywords as the variable names. The same way you cannot use like void here or static here or something like that. You cannot use keywords as the names, because the compiler will not understand what you want from it. That's why we said please don't use, and you will actually not be able to use them as the names. Yeah, and the boolean. So for now, let's just print all of them and check what is the default value for all of them. Oh, yeah, it also says that okay, we cannot print it because that's for integer value. Compiler does understand that we cannot. It's the variable is not initialized, but yeah, this is how we can initialize them. For integer value, default value is 0. For character, that's just nothing, empty. And for string, that's really good thing to understand. For string and for all reference types, the default value is null, N-U-double-L. That's for all the reference types. For all the reference types, the default value is null. And yeah, we'll talk about the exceptions in Java, we'll talk about the problems you may have, but in case you use, just maybe if we go a little bit ahead, if we use null value, if we try to access null value from the variable, we will have the error. We cannot use, like in this case, we cannot use the string without the initialization. Same way here, it will also show us the error. I think, yeah, it will also show us the error because it is not initialized. But this will be null by default. Yeah. This one we can initialize it, and by default the value will be null the same way by default. And it means actually. So if we try to access some methods from this, if we, for example, want to access the character, from this we will have the error. We'll have the exception, not error but exception. Yeah. It's also kind of, but the subclass of the errors in Java, and you can see that is null. Yeah. Shows us that name value is null, and we cannot access this variable if we change it to something like that. It will show us the last character. Yeah, maybe you may ask why we put char at 3, but it actually returned us the 4th character. That's because in Java everything starts at 0. Yeah. So if we type 0, this will be the first. This will be the first character. Yeah. So, and if we try to access null variable, then we will have the error. Alright. And yeah, let's talk shortly about the variables. We already use it, but just for theory to understand, we need to define the variables in Java. Yeah. And we can define them using the syntax. We add access modifier if we are inside the class. If we want to define the variables inside the class, then we can add access modifier. We can type if it's static or not. Inside the methods, you don't need to do it, because everything will be available inside the method. And yeah, you type the type. So on the website you have the type, and on the right side you have the name of the variable. Okay. This is how we define variables. And you can see it here. Data type on the website and variable name on the right side. Yeah, this is how it looks like. The data type is selected. Data type for specific value and variable name can be chosen freely. So you can so the data type must be exactly one of the types already defined. If it can be the class, it can be the primitive data type, it can be the interface or a numbers or a num, whatever it can be, but it must be defined in the system. If we talk about variable name, you can briefly choose any variable name you want. But please make it understandable for others. Like, don't create such variables, because in this case the program will not be structured. Other people will not understand what it means here, and it will be much more harder to understand what does this program mean. And yeah, one more thing about the variables. It is not as strict as for the classes, but we usually start the names of the variables with using lowercase. We start with lowercase. Like in this case, all the variables are named in lowercase. But what you can actually do, maybe if you have multiple words inside the variables, in variable names, then you can use the so-called camel case. Then you can use the uppercase letter to distinguish two words inside the variable name. You can use uppercase inside the variable name. Yeah, this, for example, how it can look. A float, byte, any type on the website, or the name of the right side on the right side, and you can see also lowercase is used here at the beginning, and uppercase letters are used to distinguish the words inside the variable name. Also, there's such syntax that if you have like multiple variables with the same type, like in this case, if you want to just can do it in this way. Just if we don't initialize them, just name, surname. You can define them separated by comma. So now you have two variables declared, and both of them have type string. Let's keep it initialized. And yeah. Also, there are two options. We can initialize the variables at the beginning, and we can skip the initialization. Again, it depends on the flow of the program you are creating. So if you if you have nothing to initialize in the beginning, like if that's the price, you maybe don't have the price default value for the price, so then you can keep it initial, or you can add some default price here. Also, just maybe make it easier for you to understand, these values which are assigned during the initialization are considered as default values. So these are default values, and if the values are not static, We'll talk about static values a little bit later, but like if the value is not static, we can change the age inside the method, which is inside the class or outside the class. It depends on the flow. But so here we have, by default it's 18. We maybe we want to change it during the code, during the execution of the code. Then we can change it somewhere here. Also, yeah, it's obviously you cannot declare the variables after you do any operations with them. It makes sense. In Java, you need to follow from top to bottom. Then the same case, we just for sum equals. It's written here. You cannot do it this way. You need to declare the variable before it is used. Now everything is fine. Everything is fine now. So this is okay. That's about it. And for the variables, again, yeah, the same way for all the types. You can initialize them in the code. You can initialize them on declaration. It depends on your requirements. Then there's such interesting thing like casting, and in some cases the casting, especially for the reference data types, is from my point of view maybe for some a little bit complicated thing. For a primitive type, I think it makes sense that if we come from more general to more specific, we can do the widening casting. So it means that we go from smaller type to larger type size. Just a small example right here. As you can see, we have the age. We declare double age. Then we can assign integer to double. That should be fine. Yeah. So we can see on the right side we have integer. On the left side we have double. Different data types, but for Java it's not a problem. Java will understand what does it mean. Yeah. The same for the float. Yeah, you cannot declare the variables with the same name if you declare them in the same place. Yeah. Inside the code we cannot declare variables with the same names, even if they have different types. It's not possible. You need to have different names. And for float, as you can see, it's also possible to cast from integer to float. What would be if we do it on the opposite way? Like you can see, we have height here. It's double, and we want to assign the double value to integer value. Students. Hi. In this case, it's not as easy as for double and float, because we go from more detailed to more general. Yeah. default, like if we have height, it has 1 point something, but for integer that will be considered as only 1, and all the digits after the point will be removed. And what can we do in this case? In this case, the compiler shows us that this may be the problem. And this may be the problem, and compiler cannot do it automatically. What can we do? We can do the casting, and the casting is done this way. We use the brackets, and inside this round brackets we provide the type to which we want to cast this particular variable. And let's check what we have as the result. Yes, if you want, just maybe a small hint. If you want to check something, what happens in your program, you can print the variable and check the value of this variable. Yeah, so this is the first print, and this is the second print. So just maybe to not confuse you, let's comment it out. And now we will have only this output, and here we have 1. It is not rounded. It just removed everything what is after dot. Yeah. It just kept integer value from this variable and printed it out. So nothing. Well, yeah. That's why the casting is a little bit tricky thing. If you do it with primitive data types, like in this case we did it with primitive types, it will also be possible to do with the reference types, just like string or any other reference types like classes. In this case, if you do the casting, it is called upcasting, and there are two things like downcasting and upcasting. If we go from more specific to more general, then something may be lost, and in some cases it may result in error. If we talk about reference types, then for the reference types, if you have incorrect casting, then you will have error. So please be careful with the casting. Okay, we will continue after the break. For now, let's have 10 minutes break. Okay, let's continue. So that's we just finished with the casting, and again, the idea is just you can go from more general type to more detailed type this way, like in this way, or you can go from detailed type to more general, or on the opposite end, from general to detailed type. And please be careful, because the casting is tricky thing, and especially for the beginners, when you may have some maybe not huge knowledge about some missing some gaps in the knowledge of the object-oriented programming or the data types, then please be careful if you use casting. Because again, if the casting is used strongly, you will have the error. But that's, in some cases it's needed. Yeah, it's obviously needed. It's needed. It's obviously it's needed in some cases, and if you understand how to use it, if you are sure from which type to which type you go, the casting is really useful feature in Java. And yeah, here it is set. If we use widening casting, if we go from more general to more detailed, because again the byte can be represented as double, integer can be represented as double. Just if you have the variable a value like integer, it's maybe 4, yeah. If you have 4, then for the double you will have 4.0, which will obviously be the same from a mathematical point of view. Alright, that's approx. Any questions about casting? Is it clear or not? Just in case you have any questions, any queries, please let me know. And now we can move on. Yeah, in the opposite way, we will have data walls. Just as we just had, if we go from double to integer, we will lose the digits after point. And Java keywords. Java keywords, there are not a lot from my point of view. As actually, this is the list of all the keywords used in Java. And in Java, as I said before, you cannot use the keywords as the variable names or the names of the classes, because that will be confusing for a compiler, and compiler will not understand what we try to achieve. That's why please don't use these keywords as the names of the classes, names of the variables, because they will be used for different operations, different declarations. They're reserved. Yeah. Some exceptions here. You can see goto. Goto is deprecated in Java, so it is not used anymore. It is actually here. If you type goto, it will be here, but it will be highlighted as the keyword, but as compiler says, it's syntax error. Please don't use it. We will not use it. Maybe one small remark. In Java, as you already noticed, there are different Java versions. currently we use Java-13. There are some previous versions available for us, and there were previous versions of Java, and what's the difference? What are the differences between Java versions? The differences are that in these libraries, we have system library for Java-13. For previous versions, they were different libraries. Most of the stuff is inherited from the previous versions, but some things are deprecated, some things are not used anymore. So in some cases, maybe we'll see the examples a little bit later, but some classes are deprecated in new Java versions. So if you use some of them, then they will be highlighted as deprecated, so it means that we try to avoid to use them. Because in future versions, it means if something is deprecated by Java, it means that in future versions it will be deleted. So Java asks us to avoid using some things because they will not be available in the future. And it's kind of the same as for GoTo, it's not used anymore. And also there are three keywords added in different Java versions, so it means that if it's added in Java version, the 5th Java version, then it means that it will not be available. It will not be available if you use older Java version. Alright, that's almost it about the Java basics. Any questions about all these things? No, yeah, not only that's a good question, and that's a really interesting story about GoTo. If you, one of you mentioned that she worked with C++ previously. In C++, GoTo is used, and yeah, it is used in C++. Also, for those who, not sure if some of you work with Visual Basic. In Visual Basic, GoTo is also used, and in some programming languages, it is used as well. But what does GoTo mean? That's a really tricky keyword. Okay, maybe I will try to visualize it in Java. In fact, there's actually no syntax we can use for GoTo in Java at the moment because it's deprecated. But what I will try to show you how this GoTo statement works in other programming languages. So again, here we have the flow of the program. Yeah. I hope you understand what does the flow of the program means. We have the method main, and we just have all the actions here. Yeah. Here we declare the variable. We have the variable. We assign the value to this variable. Then we declare new variables. We assign a new variable to the name val again, and so on and so on and so on. This is the flow of the program. We start and we do some actions here. This is the algorithm. Yeah. So if some of you don't understand what does the flow of the program mean, then please let me know. I will explain. But yeah, this is the idea. The flow, it starts from somewhere, it goes step by step. We do some actions inside our code. And what is the idea of GoTo? Go-to is that we I will just create a dummy code here. Like we define the section. Yeah, just not in this way. Yeah, that's just a visualization. Yeah, it may be different syntax may be used here, but the idea is that we define the beginning of the section. Yeah, just maybe this way or another way. Yeah. But the idea is that we point at the beginning of the section. So we have the fall of the program, and we point at the beginning of the section. So and the idea of goto is that we have the fall of the program, we have the beginning, we start this section, we do some stuff here, and we ask go to section 1. Yeah, from the syntax it's incorrect in Java, just the idea. And the idea of goto is that it goes to the place where the section is defined. So it actually repeats the code from here. So we finish this code, and using goto we go back to this section 1. So I hope you understand the idea of goto. Yeah. So it's incorrect from the syntax point of view. I'm just showing the idea of goto. So the idea is that it just points us to go to this particular section. Yeah, defined here. I ask program go to this section. And what's the problem with this approach? The problem is that most of programmers complain about it. Why? Because this is so-called spaghetti code. In programming, we have this term called spaghetti code. It means that the program is not understandable. The program is very it's messy. There's so much mess inside. It's hard to understand the program. Yeah, that's why most of programmers complain about this approach using goto, and the complaints were heard by Java, and in lots of programming languages it is this feature, like going to particular sections using goto statement, is deleted. So we don't have this option in Java anymore. Because again, this is really uncomfortable feature for the programmers to actually understand the code. Because just since we started talking about the programming, then before you start programming, every time you start the programming, you must understand, and you must follow the idea that other developers, maybe not only developers, but those who read your code, they should also understand what do you mean by your code. It's really important, and in some cases it's even more. You can skip some things about the performance. From the performance point of view, like you may have to do some more complicated things. We'll see what are the best approaches to use. But in some cases, to make the code more understandable, we may need to use maybe more complicated structure of the code. So that's also really important. That's why goto statement was deleted, because it makes program less understandable for those who haven't seen this program before. So it's really important to create a program which can be understood by others. Yeah, that's about goto. In case you have any more questions, please let me ask. Please ask, and I I'll try to help you. Yeah, this may be one. Let's start with, let's do some practical things. Maybe let's create a new class. Just as an example, we have student, now we can have country. Country. And for the country, let's define some attributes, like each country has capital city, and maybe let's get the default value. We will not have default value because it's obviously there is no default capital city in the world, so we keep it just no value. Then what else we can have for country? Population. It's integer. What else can we have? Boolean is in European Union, for example. And just last thing. Statical. Okay, let's have GDP. We can use in double if we want, but yeah, let's maybe use double. Okay, so now we have the variables declared inside the class country, and let's what we can do, we can fill these variables from the code not from the code but from console. To do it, we can use this thing like scanner, and this is the first time we use the import because we have so-called such class like scanner, use scanner, and by default you can see that that's the error. Why? Because we don't have scanner class defined in this package, right? So we need to do the import, and we can see if we press Ctrl space, you can see that there are some options to be selected from. In most cases, if we use some classes like scanner or its buffer reader, we'll maybe use it a little bit. We'll use it a little bit later, or some classes from import, and you can see that by default, but from the libraries available here, you can see there's such called CLM.sun.java. In most cases, you won't need to use it. Please, for the classes we usually use, I recommend to directly select it from Java utility class. If you need to import something, and in your practical assignments, if you have option Java util available, this is actually what you need to use. The question from you may be, what's the differences between them? The differences between them is that these are absolutely different classes with different properties, different implementation. Like we have 3 scanner classes available here. If we select this one, first of all, we have the error. Yeah, first of all, you have the error. You cannot use this class, so we won't use it. Again, let's select another option, scanner from this package, and this also is not accessible for us but if we use Java utility class, that should be fine for you, and Java utility package, and this is really useful package, Java utility. And this is the first time we use import. Import again, as I said before, if we use import, it means that we import this class from other package. In this case, it's imported from utility, and we ask the program to import this scanner class. We also can do this way. We can skip writing class name and just press star. It means that all the classes from Java util package will be available for us. And also the question from you may be, what does these dots mean? Dot means if we use dot, it means that we can have the sub package inside package. So like in this case, we have package. If we create a new package, for example, sub basics, yeah, we can have a sub package under the package, and in this case, some basics, and we can change source of the same, and yeah, in this case, if we use dots, it means that this is the sub package of the package. Yeah. So if we use star, it means that all the classes from this particular package, Java util, will be imported and available for us. Like in this case, if we use scanner, we can use it, and scanner, this is the variable name, so this is the type and this is the name. And for the first time we use keyword new. Keyword new, that's also part of object-oriented programming. Just at the moment, that may be a little bit complicated for you to understand right now. For the classes, we can have two different options. We can have classes and we can have the objects with these classes. About the objects, again, this is the really nice but really huge topic, so we will talk about it a little bit later, not now, but just for you to understand, if we use new, it means that we create new object, we create new reference. And yeah, so here we create new object with the type of scanner, and the scanner, that's the class. Yeah. As I said, all the reference types are the classes. In this case, that's scanner. Yeah, that's the class scanner, and we create new object with type of scanner. And here we need to type the source. And the source, yeah, this is the constructor. We'll talk about the constructors again a little bit later, because that may be a little bit complicated for you at the moment. So at the moment, just to understand that this is we create new object, and we call the constructor of this object. Yeah? So just to visualize, to understand, if we create the object, we need to construct this object, yeah? Not only in Java, but in all the programming languages and in real life. Yeah? So if we create something, we construct something. And in this case, so using the keyword new, we call the constructor of this class, which returns us the object with the type of scanner. Yeah, and we pass the parameter, and the parameter will be the input of our system. Just maybe before we go ahead, about this parameter, because this may be a little bit not understandable for you at the moment. Don't worry, we'll talk in more detailed in more details about it a little bit later. Just for now, for example, if we declare the string, for the strings we can also use the constructor for the string variables. If we declare string, we can call new, and we can call string, and here we provide some value, some text value for a string. This is absolutely the same as if we do it it's a different name. If we do it this way, this is the same approach. So these are the equivalent approaches. We create new string calling the constructor string, and we pass the value to be constructed to string. For string type, since this is widely used in Java, we can have just a simple direct assignment, and this will assign the value to the string. But these are the equivalent approaches. Just for you to understand that for such type like string, we can also use the constructor. In this case, we construct new string. Okay, in the same way, here we also construct a new object. So now we have the scanner, and what we will do, just you may ask, why do we create it now? We will pass the values from console to these attributes, these variables. So for now we can ask the user to import, write the values for these attributes. Like in this case, let's enter capital city. Oh yeah, of course I forgot the most important thing of the country. That's the country name. Of course, every country has its own name. And we can ask that to the capital, but let's start with the country name. And here we can get country name. And if we use country name, also one more thing, if we use static variables, we can access them in two ways. Like if we don't have any variable with the same name, if we don't have the variable with the same name defined inside the method, inside this method, then we can use the variable country, like in this case country name, without any specification of the class, like in this case, just simple. So this will be this one, this variable will be this one, and the compiler will understand that this is the variable from the class. And from here we want to scan the value from the scanner. So in this case we'll read it from console. That's the warning, but that's fine for us. So now we entered country name, and in the same way, just for you, this is the equivalent approach is to use the class name. Yeah? If we use class name for static variables, then we can use class name and class attribute, class variable. Yeah? We can skip using this. We can use it. This is the same. Yeah. If you see the attribute name, just without the class name, and you see it with class name, that's the same approach. That's the same thing. Yeah. Just, using different approaches, I prefer to use with the class name because, again, if you create the variable somewhere here, in this case you will mandatorily need to use class name so the compiler can understand what is the variable you are assigning the value to. But just to make it common for all the cases, I prefer using class dot and then attribute name. So we access the attribute directly from the class. So here we write country name. Then the same way we can do for capital. Let's 29 here. Capital city. So we read capital city. And yeah, now for strings, that's clear. That's fine. We read the string because you can see if we use method next line, it has the output of string. For integer, we cannot do it this way again because we have different type. So just for now, let's enter definition and so if we want to assign string to population, that will be the problem. This is error right now. We cannot do it, and even more if we use casting, this will not work because we cannot cast string to integer. A string is reference type and integer is primitive type. This is the problem for us. What we can do in Java, you have such thing like wrapper classes, and one of the options is to use one of these wrapper class, and this is called integer. Integer, this is also the class, but and in fact you can use integer like with the capital letter in the same way as we use primitive int. But in this case, integer is not primitive type anymore. This is the same integer, but this is the reference type right now. So this is also the type. It's also now this is the class, but this is the reference type. This is not the primitive type, and it is really comfortable to use to achieve get some integer specific features. Like in this case, what we want to do, we want to get integer from string. Like in this case, we read the value as string. This method returns as string, and we want to get the integer from string. To achieve it, what we can do, we can use integer class, and here's the method parse int. It will pass integer to string, pass string to integer. And right now, everything is fine for us. So we converted string to integer, and it is done using this parse int class. Yeah, this is for population. You can see that's integer. Do the same way for for Boolean type. So here we can add if it's true or false. We can enter if it's true or false. And okay, let's use this attribute again. So there we go. And also for all the primitive types, you will find the corresponding wrapper class. And these are called wrapper classes, and they come from Java language class, and actually all of them are named with the corresponding data type, the capital letter. It's Boolean, integer. The same you can just go ahead. The same you can find for character. Also there's such type for double as well, and for float as well. So for all of them, just great knowledge for you. For all the primitive types, you in Java there are the corresponding wrapper classes, which are basically the same types, but they are not primitive types. They are reference types. And again, why do we need them? To have more features. Like in this case, from integer class, we have this feature, like we can get the integer number from string. Really comfortable for us. Really nice feature. We can use it if we want. Alright, and again, as I said, from Boolean, parsed Boolean. The same way here we parsed integer. We got integer value from string. Now we can do it for Boolean. And again, we use scanner. Alright, and the last one is GDP. GDP, and here we this country, GDP, and the type is double, so then we can use this proper class double, and the same way parse double. And parse double, and alright, now we can enter all these types. Just one small thing. Yeah, we can close the scanner at the end, and we don't have the issue anymore. And right now we can. So at this method we filled all these attributes. Yeah. We'll do it from console. And right now what we can do, the second option will be to show all these attributes. So we can create the corresponding method, which will be called show, and from here we can show all the attributes of our country. So here we can type country name this, and the operation we haven't used before. For the strings we can use plus sign, and it means that we will concatenate the strings from left side, strings on the left side, and this plus on the right side. And from here, let's enter country name, and this is how it looks like. Then the same way we can print capital city, country capital city. So we have a population. Yeah, please note that I use spaces. We'll see why do I use them, because to have a space between this text and the actual this text and the actual value, which comes from the string on the right side, string or any other type. Yeah, population, and here we type population. And interesting thing about print line is, despite the fact that it asks the string, we can actually cast integer type to string. Like if we do it from here, we cannot do it directly. Yeah, as you can see, we cannot pass integer to string. It complains us. But if we do it in system in print line, we can concatenate. In this case, what we do, we concatenate string with the integer value, and it allows us to do it. And just if we do it in this case, like, yeah, just some dummy values. That's also fine for us. If we use concatenation, it transforms integer to string. If we just directly assign, it will not work. If we concatenate, we can concatenate string with integer type. Alright, that's population. Yeah, we have country, European Union. Just here we don't need the spaces. Is the European Union? It's true or false. Again, we can also convert boolean to string using concatenation. It also allows us to do. And the last thing is GDP. Yeah. Alright, and we need to call this method from our main method. So let's check. I hope I haven't made any mistake here. So let's maybe start with our country, Latvia, capital city Riga, fine, population, don't remember, but let's type like almost 2 million. Country, part of European Union, that's true. GDP, last one. So we have double. I hope I can enter it correctly. Just maybe let me enter Google to check the right number. That's 63 billions. So maybe that's some. So yeah, let's just consider this as number and billions. And in the output, we can see that the values are printed on our screen. So everything what is typed by us in console, now we created the output at the end. This is sample you can use. Okay, any questions about this example? Is everything clear or something is unclear for you? Yeah, maybe some things may be complicated for you. Don't worry, we will have a little bit more theory about all these things. Just maybe for now, do you understand the concept, or should I explain some more details about some specific things here? Yes, no, okay. Then, anything else is typing something? Yeah, sure. Please ask the questions if you have such. Just even if the question is small and with +3. Yeah, that's the good question. I was talking about today we talked about casting, and as you remember, we have this variable. Yeah. We can double. We can pass integer value to double. That won't be the issue. Yeah. So we pass integer to double. That's fine, because this will be considered as 3.0. So that's correct. If we want to pass integer double to integer, that won't be correct, as double is not integer. We can use casting, but in this case it will just it will cut the digit after dot. So this is the casting. For the strings, again, string, it's not the primitive type, and this is the string is the reference type again. This is, as I said. So, and the trick is the tricky point is if we just have assignment and we want to assign integer value to string. Just if we do it directly, we cannot do it. We cannot do it because we want to pass integer to string, and Java does not understand it. But if we, this is the crazy fact, if we use concatenation, just a question for you: do you understand what does this operation mean? We concatenate two strings. So this is the string on the left side, this is the string on the right side. It may be the string or any other, so in this case it may be string or integer value or any other value. Like in this case we concatenate two strings, two parts, country name and country name Latvia on the right side. So is it clear for you? That's concatenation. If we use plus operator with strings, it means that we concatenate the strings or the two different values. If we have string and we can, and that's the tricky point, that we can concatenate string with any value. And like here, if we just simply use integer, it's not allowed. If we use string plus integer text value, just we have string, so this is the string. Here, that's the string, and if we concatenate string with the integer value, that's fine for the program. So this is one of Java tricky points. Just simply you cannot assign integer. If you concatenate integer with string, that's fine for Java. It's correct. At the end you will have this output, text free. As you can see here, we can create test class where I can just simply show you all these things, and let's have this separate test class. Test class. Let's just skip class name here. So let's declare string here. String. One more thing from my side. In some cases, not some cases, but in common cases, strings are named as str. So if you see str, that's the shortcut of string. And here we have text plus 3, and let's check how it looks like. We can print this value. We can print this value, and at the end you see text 3. So basically we have text, we already have text here, and we add 3 to the right side. So if we add, let's create another string. We print this one. This will just concatenate two strings. Let's see, text. Yeah, that's for strings. Just if you want to pass integer value directly, that's yeah, this is also a little tricky moment. If you pass, as you can see, this is also the method. This is the reference type, reference typed variable out, and this is the method of this variable. Just if we go to here, and so this is print string and out. So this is the type of print string, and this is the method. Yeah, here we can see that the method is override, and this is definitely a topic we'll need to talk about a little bit later, but for now that may be a little crazy point for you. Yeah, at the moment, from print line, line, we have just maybe we'll go a little bit ahead of overriding. We'll talk about method overriding a little bit, method overloading a little bit later. In this case, we can see the overloading of the methods, and we can see that we have the same methods with different input parameters. This is called method overloading. Yeah. Method overloading. So we overload methods. We have a method with the same name but with the different parameters. So we can pass the integer, we can pass long, we can pass float, whatever we want here. And this will be fine. Console will print us whatever we want. In this case, if we ask, please print us integer value, this will also work. Okay. All right. More questions about today's session? Yes, anything that you can understand, you cannot understand. It's yeah. You can send print screen. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, that's, and this is, yeah, maybe for you, as for beginners, that's really interesting thing. What you can see here, just in our class country, yeah, you have, as I said, we have public main void for as the starting point of our program. So it means that everything what is called from this method main, will be executed in the program. So what is inside here will be executed like in this case. We type something, country name, let's see, United States, capital Washington, ocean, false, GDP, there's so much. And as you can see, nothing happens as well. Why? Because in this method main, I haven't called the method show. So in this case, I never called this method show. It is in my class, but it is not called from main method. Right? That's why nothing is shown here. If we call this method will be called, and this will execute the code located under this method. Yeah, that's why I think not only that's also your case when you don't why you don't see the output. I think you missed to call this method show. Yeah, and that's the flaw of the program. Everything what is located under main program will be executed. You can define as much methods, as much variables as you can in this class. If you don't call them from the main method, they will be ignored. Yeah. You will only see what is called from here. Yes, you should change it to double. Yeah, if you want to use dots, if you want to decimal values, you need to change it to double. Yes. Integer only without the dots. Yeah. If you want to use dots, you need to use float or double. Yeah, I prefer using double because it's more simple to use. Okay, the home task for you will be to create your own example. Just when you enter something and you create the output, to show the output of what is created. You just need to send me the code, and that should be fine. Yeah, the idea is the home task for you is to create your own example of, in my case that's country. You can define students, you can define whatever you want. Yeah, just you're free to improvise here. That will be that's home task for next week, and for Monday. Yeah. Hope that should be fine. In case you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you for your attention today, and have a nice weekend, and see you on Monday. Bye.